Okay, let me share my slide once more. Have you seen my slide right now? Can you see it? My slide. I share my slide again.
Yes, sir.
I see, sir.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
Okay. So I'm sorry, I couldn't. Sometimes I just scared that we are disconnected because sometimes that connection is bad. So for general biology, designated for physics, we will focus on study and biological aspect of organisms, so including plants, animals, fungi, microbes, etc. But we will take a particular emphasizing on the interconnections between the biology and the physics. So it's quite different with the general biology for biology students, because for the physics students, we have to design it by emphasizing on the interconnections between the biology and the physics itself. So we will learn how these two kind of the science, the biology and the physics, will be interconnected each other. And this is something that we have to understand, that knowing the biology, so understanding better in biology will inspire us in physics and also physicists, and also vice versa. We are as a biologists also could be inspired by the physics, and therefore we also learn about the physics in biology, and you and physics department also learn about the biology. So we are interconnected each other, and to develop our understanding each other and to get the great inspirations in developing such a science, we need to collaborate each other. So which kind of that phenomena in life that from the biology could inspire the physics? For example, the night visions in owls, burung hantu we call it. So the night visions in owls, like here you can see, when we understand about the basic matter of such a visions, we can understand about the binocular visions of this species, this bird, and then in biology, in anatomically, we can also scrutinize about the context of structures of the visions, how the owl could see in the darkness. And it is then inspired the physics to develop this night vision technology. As you see here, right now, the development of night vision technology in military, for example, also in photography as well, and also in aerospace. Also, this technology is rapidly increased by firstly inspired by the systems found in night owls. So as you see here, that the system developed by the physicians that could improve how we can see in the darkness, like another species like in the owls, or even in the cat, also in the dog, also they could see in the darkness. And also, do you know what is it? CD, do you know what is it? Do you know what's kind of this illustrations? Can you guess it? Anybody can you guess what's kind of this one? What is it? Do you know what it is? Oh, okay, so it is actually the scanning electron microscope visions pictures for the water droplet. So this one. So there is a phenomenon, a very interesting phenomenon, called it Lotus Effect. So when a drop of waters touch the surface of this lotus, teratai, we call it teratai, the lotus, and then there is the physics simulation for the concept for this, applied for the concept, that you can see here that the water could then be dissolved in the surface of this of the leaf of the lotus, and then the mechanism is like this because there is a wax crystals, and then the water could be moved like this. So when we scrutinize, investigate it using the electron microscopes, then we can see it. This is water droplet here, and this is the reflections, because it's kind of a gloss that water could reflect any kinds of division of sides. So this is the surface of the lotus leaf, and this is the water droplet. And then you can see here that then it's also inspired the technology in developing the a kind of super hydrophobic technology. So it is used to, for example, in protecting the layers of the glass for your vehicles, like in the car, the mirror of the car, and also in the buildings. The highest building also apply this concept to, make the self cleaning, the glass that could clean it by itself. So whenever the water drop on it, and the water could also collect the debris, the dirt. So this is the dirt, for example, like the dust and other. And then anytime when the water touch the surface, then it will collect the debris. Then it will be clean as well. So we will be practiced in we don't have to clean our windows, for example, because by adopting such technology. And until today, this Lotus Effect will has been employed in many kind of technology, including this super hydrophobic technology. So, and what about this one? Also, this is about the climate change. So, this is a kind of the iceberg, and this is the polar bear. And as we see that recently, there is the climate change, and that triggers the many kind of you should see here that because the climate change, it will triggers the high temperatures, like the global warming, and then the strongest storms, and changing the rain and snow pattern, and also the rising sea level, damage corals, and also increase the water temperatures, and the change that life cycles of the plants and animals. And also then it also triggers that the fires, and induce the more drought and wildfires as well. And then this is when the melting of the snow and the ice and thawing the permafrost. So this mechanism, this process, demonstrate the interconnections between the biology and physics. That also in biology, we also have to understand about how the radiations from the suns, and also how the temperatures will rise, and it will affect the organisms, and in vice versa, in reverse, that the physics also could inspire by such models, that how to develop the technology to, for example, to stop the rising of the temperatures, or inspiring a kind of that how to control, for example, the drought and the erosions, and also to slow down the melting of the ice. So this kind of interconnections. And also this one, the echolocation technology inspired by this animal, for example, the bat, kind of the mammals that they use echolocations, a kind of that the wave of sounds, and then to detect this kind of the food in this one, for example, insects, the moths in the night. So this technology now applied like this, and so the physics inspired by this technology, these mechanisms. So the physics developed this one, the mechanisms that sending the voice and then to the objects, then we could identify the distance and also the characteristic of such object using this technology. And of course, there's could be inspired by any also another animals, and develop the submarine technology in others in detecting the above the sea and also under the sea, to like in the military, also in the investigations of marines. And in biology, you see here that the development of the understanding of the structures of DNA was developed by the Rosalind Franklin. So she was a geneticist and as well as the physicist, and she understands how to use the X-ray, the radiations used by the physics in physics to understand, to scrutinize the structures of DNA. So previously, before that, Rosalind Franklin used the X-ray to the diffractions of such this X-ray to identify the conformation, the structures of DNA. We don't know that DNA is double helix, but afterward, after the C use it to scrutinize it, then now in biology we could also modify the several organisms by modifying the genetic, because we are by understanding the structures of the genetic organisms, then we can modify it. So you see here, for example, now the scientists could create it, could modify the fluorescence organisms like this. This is the insects, and this is the worm, and this is the microbes, and this is the rabbit, even the rabbits and also the mice. They are fluorescents. So they develop the fluorescence animal, genetic modified organisms. And also right now, even the plant in tobacco, the scientists also developed the fluorescent tobacco. So how they could reach such this developmental technology by modifying the genetics matter of such animals and plants, it is basically because the first research performed by Rosalind Franklin using the basic concepts, X-ray diffractions, in revealing the structures of DNA. And after the science understand about the structures of DNA, then they move forward to develop the modifications in organisms. And that's how that biology and physics could interact each other. So then also in neuroscience, like my PhD study in Japan, also I study about optogenetics. So we use the laser light, like a blue laser and yellow laser light, in order to trigger the activity of the neurons directly. So we induce the activations of the neurons in the brains of the mice, and then using the laser directly. The blue laser will activate the neurons and the yellow will stop the activations of the neurons. And by understanding of such mechanisms, then we will understand which part of the brain controls the particular activities of our life or our organs. And that is how we use the physics technology to study of biology, including the study the neurons or electricity. So in these lectures, we will understand this particular topic. There are several different topics. So in first, we will learn about origin of life, and then we will study about the cells and tissues of plants and animals. But we will directly scrutinize about the connection between the cells and tissue of plants and animals with the physics matters. And then we will focus on photosynthesis, respirations, and transpirations in plants, and we will understand about the connection between this mechanism with the physics. And also we will understand about the movement, circulations, and nervous systems and the kidney using the physics approach. So we'll combine of our understanding between the biology and physics to understand the organ systems and animals. And then we also will we'll study about the biotic and abiotic factors affecting the growth and development of organisms. It's kind of the factors, including the light, the temperatures, humidity, pressures, and also gravitations, water, and also we'll understand about the presence of organisms and nutrients as well. And then we will also study about the biodiversity, how to quantify the living things using the physical concepts. We may use the remote sensing, using the infrared technology, for examples, and how we understand about the geological, like tectonic plates, and the climatological processes that shape the biodiversity. And for after the mid-semester, you will focus on study about the laws and concept of physics found in organism and its life process. So for the latest, for the rest of meeting after the mid semesters, you will focus on investigating the typical laws or concept of physics applied in organisms, including plants or animals or even in humans, and how this process is driven by the physics laws or concepts. That is the major topic that we learn in our lectures. So, what is our major goals in the lectures? That by studying this biology, the general biology for the physics, you are expected to be able in explaining the particular life phenomenon. So like previously, the particular life phenomenon like photosynthesis or others in organisms, and then you also able in elaborating it with the laws and concept of physics. For what? In order to inspire you to develop the physics itself. So you could next, for example, being inspired to develop the sensor mechanisms, the device, for example, or the method to using the physics concepts, but you combine the biology there, like developing the robot, for example, or the sensors mechanisms. So this is our major goals in our lectures. And then this is the rules for our lectures. So first, it is about your attendance. I know you probably have familiar with this rules, but I need to remind you that you have to attend these lectures at least 75% of the total meeting. So for example, when we have a 14 meeting, then you only attend seven times in meeting, then you couldn't take the final exams because you have to attend 75% or more in order to take the final exams. Otherwise, you will be expelled from these lectures, and then you have to take it the next year, for example. And what others? We really expect you to be active in the class, like during the discussions, and also responding to questions, also presenting your results, your talks. You should be active. And I also will control you, will value you, will also take any kind of your activity on my notes. And then what is another rules that you have to submit the talks on time? It is also the common rules. And then please, to be honest, during the final exams, even the quiz, for example, or in the mid-semester exams or final exams, please no cheating in the exams. So I think this is a very basic rules for us, and hopefully that you will understand about this and could stick out on these rules. So this is your names I found on my portals, in academic portals, that the member of our class is only 11, but in our groups I found that we have 12. So who is the one that absent from the list of this one? Lindu, Fajri, Rafli, Rian, Khairul, Nisa, Ayu, Nabila, Riha, Nikan, Yusuf, and Cindy. So who is the missing one?
Tuti Alavia, I think.
Okay, so Tuti. Okay. Okay, so Tuti, I don't know why your name is just disappear in this list. Probably you need to confirm with your department, because next when we want to input your final results, then when your name is disappear, we couldn't input it, and as the consequence, the systems will also remove you from the systems as well. So please then make a report with your department afterwards, because your name is we couldn't find your name in this list of the academic portals of mine. Also in Mizozi that she also couldn't find your name there. So okay.
Okay, sir.
Okay, so please then you can send an email or something like contacting your department, asking your department why your name is disappear in the lectures of general biology, and then probably your department will proceed it to make your name then to be included in the list. Okay, so because our lectures will be conducted in student-centered learning, so you have to prepare the presentations by the talks in different topics, and therefore I will divide you into 6 different groups. So each group will compose of 2 students. So this one, G1, G1, G2, this means group 1, group 2, group 3, group 4, group 5, and group 6. So Tuti will be the group 6, right, with Cindy, but Lindo and Fajri will be in the same group, the first group, and also, for example, Nabila with Aisha will be in the 4th group. So remember about the group. Then I will share this slide later with you. And see, so this is the scenario of our class. We will perform the class in student-centered learning, SCL, I mean student-centered learning scenario. So this is our topics. We have 6 topics before the mid-semester, from the origin of life to the biodiversity. So there are 6 topics, and then I will divide you into 6 groups, and therefore each group will take a responsibility to focus on preparing the topic of this, explaining about this origin of life, for example, the group 1, and photoscientists is for group 3, and biodiversity for the Lotus group. So remember that. So then I will designate it assignment. So I will design the assignment for each groups, and then you will work in your groups, in your partners, and you will search the literatures, but online or offline. You can use a book or others. Then I will then send you several references that you could use for dealing with your talks. And then based on your discussion with your partner and based on your literature search, then you have to prepare the presentations in PowerPoint types. So just prepare it with your partner, and then prepare in very nice slide and based on the designated assignment topic and subtopic. And then you have to share the files. Please share the files you prepare in PowerPoint 1 day before the lectures. So for example, next week we will take the lectures on Tuesday. Then you have to submit it on Monday. So the deadline is on Monday. So please share the files on our subgroups, and then on next week, the first group will start a presentations in the class, explaining about the particular topics they discussed before. So you will conduct a presentation in the class, and then follow it by the discussions, the question and answers, and as well as the response. So not only the questions or answer, you may also give suggestions, for example, or critics with your friends, or giving additional explanations that you know based on your experience. So it is better. So we will perform the discussions, and after the sessions that you not the groups, I mean the other groups, not the presenter group, but another group. For example, next week the group 1 will be the presenters. So the other groups, the remaining groups from 2 to 6 group should submit summarize the topics in 250 words. So the very short paragraph, actually, only 250 words. You have to prepare the summary of the explanations you found in the lectures presented by the groups. Then you will submit it, the summary of the lectures as individual talks. So in each sessions during the 6 weeks later, you have to prepare the summary of such a lecture. So each time we have the presentation, then afterwards you have to prepare the summary for the lectures. Only very short summary, only 250 words. So it's a very, very short summary actually, just like the point of that presentations. So next I will explain to you about evaluations. So what are the aspects of evaluations in this lecture? So there are two major aspects. The first is evaluations on learning process, and the second is evaluations on the results of learning. So during the learning process, I will value you, I will evaluate you, your attitude and core value by assessing your disciplines. So through the observations with 20% of your major, I mean your total score you will get apart from discipline. So whether you will be in the class on time, whether, for example, you will actively submit your talks on time as well, whether you will also participate in your friends, in your groups, dealing with this kind of that talks. And then for these interpersonal skills, in the critical thinking and effective communications, we will assess it during your presentations. So, you know, during your presentation in your groups, you will be asked by another students several questions, and probably me also will ask you questions. Then that's kind of assessment for your critical thinking and how you communicate it, how you present your talks, and how you respond with the questions. That is a kind of the effective communications. So I will observe it. And then the evaluation of the result, we will take the mid-semester for 30% of that your final score, and the final exam also 30%. And remembers that the compulsory requirement for you to be able in joining the final exams, you have to attend the lectures at least 75%. So this is the requirement. So based on the list of attendance, then I will count how many times you attend the class, and then I will transform it to be the percentage. So whether you achieve the levels, the cut value, like more than 75% or less than 75%. If you just attend this class like less than 75%, you probably should be explain about your reasons. If you have the flu, for example, you have you getting ill, you have a serious disease during the lectures, and then of course we will need that kind of letters from medicals or from hospital to support your arguments. But if you fail to prove that you are you were, for example, having another activity, then you couldn't join this class for the 75% of the meeting, and then you couldn't join the final exams. As a consequence, you will be getting the zero in value. So please just pay attention on that. So I think that's all my explanation for this our meeting today. Hopefully that okay, we're back right now. So hopefully that you understand about my explanations today and the introductions about the what we will learn in this biology for physics, and how the scenario for us it will be conducted in our class, that you will prepare your presentations and then you will present it in our class in with your partner in a group, and then we will conduct the discussions. So we will designate it moderator from another groups, and then also the question from another groups, and then we will discuss about it to understand together. So even I am as a teacher here, as a lecturers, I will never guide you to be, you know, explain everything by myself, but it is your talks to explain the particular topic for you, and then I will add some explanation for you to make the perfect our understanding in science, in biology. So I bet that you have learned in junior high school as well, and senior high school, of course, understanding about the biology, like the origin of life, the biodiversity. I bet you have learned about it a lot. So in these lectures, we try to just taking overview from the previous knowledge for you from the biology, and then we will combine it with the concept of physics, so you can then understand about it. Okay, so for the particular talks, I will send you the file letters probably tonight. I will share you. For example, the first group will let me check first who is the members of the first group. I think Linda, right? And for example, Tutti will be the group, the largest group, right? The Tutti will focus on biodiversity, and then what kind of aspect of biodiversity you will prepare for your presentations. So what is the subtopic that you will learn? You will present it then. So I will tell you later by sharing the files, so you can focus on the topic here. So not all the aspect of biodiversity, but only particular aspect. For example, how the geological process like tectonic plate or earthquakes that could triggers the shaping the biodiversity. Okay, so that's kind. But because I did not complete yet the list for the particular topic for you in each groups, then I should delay to share it. Probably tonight I will share it to you, so you can start to prepare it by yourself. Okay, so I think that's all for our lectures today. Hopefully that you could understand about my explanations, and also since that our time also almost been there, almost finished there, 7 minutes later. So first I need to download the list of attendance first, and then taking our pictures as well.
Excuse me, sir.
Yeah, do you have any questions, please?
There is attendance list, sir.
What?
There is attendance list.
Oh no, because I download it directly here by programs. I could download it directly.
Because I didn't saw in iLearn, sir.
Yeah, you don't have to fill it because I could download it directly by our meeting.
Okay, sir. Thank you, sir.
Yeah, the system will download it directly here. Okay, do you have another questions? Nabila, Aishi, Lindu, any other questions? For the reference, like a book or links or website, then I will share you later, okay? I will tell you later. So I will share several files in our WhatsApp groups, like our PowerPoint for today, and also the subtopic for each groups, and also the reference, that titles of the books, and also the links of the website that you may use to prepare your presentations, and also to understand your talks as well. Okay, so thank you. If there is no another question, the next question, so we will finish our sessions today. We have spent almost 1 hour and 50 minutes. So I think it's quite a longer time. And see you next week.
Sir.
Yeah, please. Do you have another question?
I don't see your slide in iLearn, sir. Your slide is not available.
Okay, so because I'm not enrolled yet, because your department did not enroll me yet in iLearn, and therefore I couldn't share the slide yet there. But I will use the WhatsApp group to share it first before I could be share it through the iLearn. Okay, because right now your department, the administrations in your basic department did not admit me to be the members of this island groups, and therefore I couldn't share anything there. I couldn't even join with such that as a teacher, and therefore I will just share the slide through that WhatsApp group for today, and probably tonight, for example, for your particular talks. Okay,
sir.
so any other questions? Do you have any other questions?
Excuse me, sir.
Okay, please, Niken.
By the way, your speak is good, like a British. So, can you teaching us to speak with you, like you speak, sir?
What? I don't know. I'm sorry.
I'm
That's
sorry.
what.
Your
What did
speak
you
is good,
say,
sir,
Niken?
like
Mm-hmm.
British. So,
Ah, sorry.
can you teaching us to speak like you, sir?
Ah, do you mean that sharing the tips and
Yes,
how to improve our pronunciations and also
sir.
I think you know, if you learn about a language, you should live with such a language. I decided, for example, for starting in Minang language. I came from Bengkulu, so when I was arrived in Padang in 2001, I just did not understand at all about the Minang language. So when, for example, they said a very bad word, then I follow them to say a bad word. But after 3 months living in Padang, because I also practiced speaking in Padang by myself and tried to push myself to speak in Minang, and therefore after 3 months I could improve my Minang language, so I can speak Minang like a native. And the similar thing, actually, if you learn about English, you have practice, you have to try to do exercise of your tongues without practicing by yourself, like when you watch a movie, for example, then you can also directly mimic such pronunciations, because in my previous life when I was like in undergraduate, that the time Harry Potter's was released, and I also among the fans of Harry Potter, and therefore I also probably slightly influenced by the British accents. But when I was also living in Japan for 4 years, so I stayed in Japan for 4 years from 2013 to 2017. I also interact with researchers, and also my supervisors was also from living in London for a couple, I mean, like 20 years there. So he also spoke with me in British accent, therefore it impacts me a lot. So I think my point is, if you want to learn to improve your English, try to practice it by yourself, by watching YouTube, for examples, and then by listening itself and watching a movie a lot. I think the better way, the very effective way to improve your English is by watching movie. Not only watching, then you try to mimic the pronunciations and then try to understand it, because it's not that easy for us to understand to improve your listening and then speaking. That's a kind of your proficiency. So for me, I'd love to speak in English, or probably I spend like 1 hours a day speaking with my friends from another country, like from Singapore, or from also in Polandia, or also sometimes I communicate with my friend in America, and also sometimes I also discuss with my partner in biology department in English, and therefore it will sustain my proficiency. But honestly, my English is not so good. I still need to improve it as well. But hopefully that it could motivate you to improve your also English, because there are many beneficial things that you can earn by having the proficiency in speaking English, because our university right now will designated a program for international program. So you can for example, next year we will also designate some financial support for students to go abroad. So if you have the ability in speaking in English, you may spend your holiday or your spare times in Australia, in Melbourne, for example, supporting by a university. So hopefully that you could practice it by yourself. But the regulations in our class, because I also understand that probably sometimes it's difficult for us to speak 100% in English in our class, particularly we understand about the science. So you may use also Indonesian language in our class. If you, for example, stop and explain about something, so you can switch your language to Indonesia. So you can use a bilingual. So don't push yourself to 100% speak in English if you can't. But I highly recommend you to use an English. But if you, for example, during your presentation, then you can't explain such a thing, the difficult thing in English, then you may switch it into Indonesian. It's better. It's good because we are here learning, not like competitions, not in examinations. So we are here learning. So we try to, learning about the language itself. And when we start with such a language, then we can switch it with our native language in Indonesian. It's okay for you. And for me, I used to speak faster, even in Indonesian language, in Bahasa, also in English. And therefore, please just tell me, just let me know. For example, when I explain about something, then you just think, wow, this is too fast for me. So just please let me know, so I can slow it down. Because without you telling me about it, I just did not realize that I speak too fast for that. Sometime like that in my class, that I said, my student, please just let me know whether that my speed in speaking is too fast. Because I'm typically the fastest speaking. I love to speak at like something like that. So just for example, you can interrupt during, for example, my explanation. So you can say, excuse me, sir, would you mind to slow it down, because we're talking about the science and it's a complicated thing, right? So it's better if you tell to me that, then I could slow down my speech and then you can understand about it. Because our major aims in this study is actually understanding about the biology and physics, but because we are in international class, and therefore we also at the same time have to learn about the language, about the English, and therefore I also learn about the language which you try to improve my speaking. So that's all we can, and oath. So I think we have to close our session today. Thank you very much for your participation, and I'm glad to see you all and to know about you, and hopefully that we can understand, could motivate each other, and don't be hesitate to contact me if you have any problem. For examples, I love to communicate with you. I love to interact using social media, and then you can also contact me using the WhatsApp, for examples, and don't be hesitated to express about your curiosity, about your questions. So okay, I'm really available for you, because we are in the class, very family right now, and we know each other and try to engage each other. Okay, thank you very much. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.